Yeah, so I was talking about Malcolm X, that I was reminded by Malcolm X, as Paul is saying we should colonize in each and every country. We should colonize. I remember X at the later stage of his life, he was now advocating for an international solidarity, an international cooperation of black people, believing that if we work together in whatever space we are, we'll be more powerful. Because yes, you could colonize in China, but if you are not linked with your brothers in South Africa, you will somewhere lose fuel. I remember some professor in a political school once made this example. He said, if you run a spicer shop, maybe Kontrapo, you run a spicer shop Kontrapo, and then this spicer shop, you are the only black person there. Your neighbors are white spicer shops, right? If you die, no one will pick you up. These white spicer shops will swallow you. But if your neighbors are your own brothers and sisters, when you run out of funds, they will bail you out. So if black people are making their inways in China, their counterpart in the nearing country, or maybe in Japan, will help them out, and they will trade philosophically.
They need to do that.
Yes,
they need
yes,
to do
yes,
that
yes.
faster than lightning. And colonize those spaces the same way that these people are colonizing us. Like you said, Malcolm X said he was talking of internationalism of minds or whatever, and it was a religion that was delaying there, because the others were Muslims, others were Christians, and the Christian was singing, "We shall overcome, we shall overcome someday." I used to like that song, but as I'm singing it now, I'm wondering what was in their mind. Because Malcolm X was saying, "Overcome now."
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? It's like this T.D. Jakes gentleman.
Yeah.
If I'm just saying gentleman because, he is gentle in many ways. I never call people gentlemen easily. I just call them man or woman. Now, he says his grandfather was strong. You see, he's huge. His grandfather used to beat up the white boys and so on who tried to cause trouble for him. And one day, they knew he was from work, he would cross a river, a certain part of the river, and they put razor wires all around there. And he tried to swim across. He was caught in the razor wire. It torn him to pieces. And he died. You understand? Filled that river with his blood. I reckon that's colonization of the river as well. And T.D. Jakes says, "I have forgiven those whites." What poison? I have forgiven them. My Lord. If this Christianity talks like that, you can take it to your granny, man. What I'm saying is that deal with the white man as gentle as possible if you can, with wit. Now, you understand? But don't go condemning their cruelties and don't go condemning all. Because you want your kind of church to prosper and so on. And even then, if you watch the crowds that come to church are black people, because black people are more religious than white people. So why are you in the first place begging them and saying, "I've forgiven those guys"? You see, that is a kind of a man you can call a Negro, an African. Because I'm moving away from word Africa. Yeah.
You are into Loho now.
Oh yes.
By
all means.
Yeah.
If the world were to hear me, all the whole wide world hears me, they better tune their ear properly.
Yeah.
We are the Loho. Here in this country, we are the Boho. Place of human origin. So, it is more educative than anything else.
Yeah.
Because the so-called Garden of Eden is here. The so-called Garden of Eden is in Gauteng, the cradle of humankind. What do you call that? You want a mythical Eden? No. There is another one somewhere.
I want to ask a question. I've been battling with this question for many years.
Okay.
All these ideas we bring them up, from Pan-Africanism, African socialism, Ubuntu. We come up with philosophies, good philosophies, but they never seem to stand the period of time, the test of time. They are run down by the media. If you were to ask a young person now if they know Pan-Africanism, man, I understand. If you were to ask them, do you know African? So why is it the case? Why do we come up with ideas?
We don't stick to what we have. We stick to Ubuntu. Stop. Ubuntu will never die. It will always be there. It is actually being grabbed from us and being commercialized in many areas by our colonizers. They have also discovered to use the word Ubuntu. With us, it's not about the word, it's not about philosophy. It is in us. It is in our genes. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
Because we were not a religious people to start with. We were not a religious people. So that's why I love this word in Sesotho, Mohayeso. Rata wahenu jwalo ka ha o ithata. Everybody ke wahenu.
Weso.
Yes. The translation of the Bible says that. It does not say Rata Mohaisani wahao. Neighbor means Mohaisan. It is a person who moves around and the next thing is in your street. No, but you understand what? Neighbor is foreign to Africa. You see, if you love your neighbor as yourself, you are busy poisoning people's mind. You would rather squeeze in the word Ratawai, love your wahenu jwalo ka witata. You understand what? Something like that. Because actually it is about wahenu.
But now there's this thing that we say, Tumzane, in our Kasilingo. Umtomnyama akafuna ukubona umtomnyama yaphambili. And here we are, we're saying Africans should colonize parts of the world, but the enemy is still within us. Umtomnyama akafuna ukubona umtomnyama. How will we colonize other spaces where other races are, while else we cannot cooperate ourselves?
The problem is that we label each other too much. You see? That is why when a South African goes to Nigeria, they'll say, oh, here is an American from Africa.
Sure.
So now we are regarded as less African. You see? And that's what the problem is. When you look at Egyptians, Tunisians, Moroccans, they don't necessarily regard themselves as
Africans. Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that if they feel offended, but it's the truth.
No, you don't have to be sorry.
It's the truth.
We are running after them, saying, you are African, you are African.
They need to understand that within the same ambience of a continent, which is called Africa, which we don't know who even named this continent. But fact of the matter is, they are with us. They are us. They are them.
Yeah, sure.
We are one.
Yeah, sure.
Whether they like it or not.
Yes, and there has been a lot of miscegenation.
It has nothing to do
with
with religious beliefs. You see, because most of them they hide with Islam mostly and all that. But forgetting that we are Africans. At the end of the day, irrespective of your religious or spiritual beliefs, fact of the matter is that you are in Africa, you are an African, and anything that happens to Africa, directly or indirectly,
it affects you.
So now, what needs to happen, irrespective that you are a yellow bone of the revolution or not, we don't care. Fact of the matter is that if you are with us and we're with you, and we hold each other's hands and say, let's look at each other as one. Let us not label one another. Let's remain strong as Africans. Then you will see the impact that we have. You see. So now, that's why I always like to repeatedly use the word divide and rule, because that's what has been happening for centuries and centuries. You know, once you have one people, you just need to cut them down to size. That is why in South Africa, you have Botswanas there, you have Basotus there, Zulus there. You see,
Zululand.
because once you are not together, once you don't celebrate each other's differences and diversity, when you see error in the next person's culture, then you're defeating the purpose. But if you see good in another person's culture,
Yeah.
then we're stronger.
Yeah.
So now, the moment we do that, we're going to grow strong. Let me just put the most simplest example. You have a young black man who's a graduate, right? He's earning 50,000, 60,000 a month. He's driving a Mercedes Benz. He's living in town. And this person wouldn't want to come back and uplift a fellow peer. Instead, he will look down on his fellow peer.
Yeah.
That alone.
Yeah.
It's a system that has corrupted this person. To say, because I've made it, therefore I'm superior. Therefore you must kneel. It's a continuation. It's an inheritance.
Yeah.
You see, of the very same system that has been created over 500 years ago.
True.
You see, we're just doing it subconsciously. We don't realize that now we are becoming our own oppressors. We are becoming our own colonizers.
Exactly.
You see,
Exactly.
I'm putting it on the lightest note.
Yeah.
Because now I want you to understand, and somebody else who's not catching up with us to just simply understand on the lightest note. So now, let's put it like this. The very same young person who's a graduate, who's earning 40,000 or 60,000 per month, who looks down on Baneti or on Tumelo. Fact of the matter is, this person is an employee. You see, this person is using his intellectual prowess to make money for somebody who doesn't even have a degree. You see, who has inherited this business for years. You see, so now you are a slave wearing a suit and a tie, driving a nice ride. You remain a mental slave because now you don't own any means of production. Instead, you are laboring and they pay you for your labor. So
you might lose the job tomorrow, and you'll come back to Tumelo and
so you're
Banit.
a modern slave. Sit down. You're a modern slave.
Yeah.
What you need to do is to use the money that you have to empower and uplift the next one, so that we rise together. Once we're united as people, you understand?
Yeah.
Be it in a small business. You made an example, Kaspaza shop.
Yeah.
Look, if we say that the Paul Bulas Paza shop, Baneti, Tumelo, and whatever, then we start
Spaza shop
maybe
chain.
just try to company and buy stock and just share amongst, sell all those merchandise with at an equal price. There is no one who inflates any price. Then people will buy from us. You know what I mean? But now what we're doing, we are competing amongst each other.
Exactly.
If Baneti's Paza shop is good, I won't go and seek for tips.
No.
Instead, I want to bring it down. You see, while Jewish, Pakistanis, Chinese, they're applying the spiderweb doctrine. That has been documented in Chicago in his book, The Capitalist Nigger. He speaks profoundly about the spiderweb doctrine, to say that when the reason why Jews are not impoverished is because they help each other. The reason why Indians are not impoverished, they help each other. You see, that's why you find a Congolese that comes in South Africa, a Nigerian that comes in South Africa. Within 6 months, this person is driving a car. How so? Because they are united.
Pakistanians and
Pakistanians as well. You see,
they're colonizing.
they even have they even have their own forum. You see, to speak about business and all that and all that. And by the way, I'm sorry to be controversial, but this is the honest truth. We need to be very careful as South Africans, because now, you see, the very same foreign guys, some of them, they are ex-child soldiers. Some of them, they've been deployed by their own country to infiltrate South Africa. Many of them have unlicensed firearms at their backyards. At any given day and time, if they can start. Okay, you're following me. You see, so now we are in slumber. As South Africans, we are in slumber. I'm not saying we must do away with our fellow brothers and sisters, but I'm saying we need to understand how they work and how they operate. You see, and that's what we need to adopt as well, and move together as Africans.
I'm so happy you came to that point, because Pan-Africanism is more academic. It's an academic exercise. Now you have come to the nitty-gritties about how people colonize you and so on. I'm saying colonize others as well.
True.
Because if you be laboring Pan-Africanism and all that, you understand what I mean? You are doing the job that is long done by the ancestors, Dubois and others. You need to move now, be smarter. And because some people would say, Tumelo says we must sit down, we are kitchen slave. But they will say, sit down, you are Malcolm X. You understand?
And
You are just disgruntled. You are an angry nigger.
Yes.
well, I think also there was a point in Sudan, where the light-skinned guys were oppressing the black-skinned guys. So I want us, like next week, we are going to talk about the discrimination, tribalism, and disunity of Africans before we can say they should colonize other parts of the world. Thank you very much for being with us. Vilakazi Talks, and we continue talking about issues that the mainstream media does not cover. We are uncensored, so do share the episodes. Do share the podcast with anyone that you know. Let it be popular and trend.